video, I'll be talking about drawing different types of colors. Once you learn the basic, you should be able to draw any of them. So I'll just do one of them. And what you need to know is that there are different lines on your color. Once you recognize them, then it's fairly simple to do them. So all of these, they do have a fold line. So this is your fold line. That's where you actually, your fabric is folding over, right? So when I say fold line, that's what I mean. Then you all have another section which is called color. Color is the smaller part that is going around the neck. It's closer to the top. So in these cases, we have all those colors. And some of them, like this one, the color is so big that is covering this entire top. Same thing with those ones. So the color could be as little as that, or it could take over the entire part of the coat at the top. Then you have your lapel. So lapel is this lower part that is attached. It's a separate piece of fabric that you cut, and these are constructional lines. So that means these are seams. These are not just line drawing. And you attach them to the color. And so this design, for example, has color and lapel. Where these other ones, they don't have any lapel. They just have the color section of it, right? Next item is your design line. When we say design line, we are referring to the shape of your color and lapel for both of them. So in this case, this is kind of wider and, you know, a little wider and shorter. In this case, it is narrower and longer. And in this case, it's going out. This is curvy. So when you're talking about your design line, that's this line here. And in these cases, they are based on more like turtlenecks. So you have a stand for your color, and they're installing zipper there. So we'll talk about that in the next section. But for now, let's stick to those guys. All right, so because I want to enlarge this so you see exactly what I'm talking about, I'm not going to trace over my models. Rather, I'll just have a bigger sketch here. Say here's our head, our neckline. And you're going to draw a collar and lapel. Don't want to confuse you, so should not have like sketching line. There we go. We can really do any of these. Let's take a look at that very first one. So first thing you do, you're going to look at your pictures. You could use these ones, or you could, you know, find stuff online, or a picture of you or family member who's wearing certain type of clothing. You could refer to that, but always have an image in front of you at this stage. Later on, once you know exactly what things are working, then it's okay to draw from memory. But for now, I really strongly recommend that you keep looking at an image for that matter. Okay, so let's take a look at your fold line. I'm going to decide on this design, so I will draw my fold line. And as you can see, this side is going over top of that side. So I have that, and I'm going to draw that line. Right away, I'm going to draw my fold line on the other side, which is a little shorter. I guess I made it a lot shorter. Let's go back down here. So I try to get it as close as possible to that drawing there. As you can see, I'm applying my little loop to these guys. So that's always there, no matter what piece of clothing you're doing. Then we're going to look at our color. So from behind the neck, it's going out, coming this way and going back in. So that's what I will be doing. So it is going from behind the neck, it's going out, And again, it's going even further out, and then it's coming back in, like that, right? And as you notice, I'm drawing above my shoulder line. Now here's the other part of, this is my lapel, and I'm going to pay attention to my design line. So it is there, going out a little, coming all the way back in. There, you see, it's already shaping. And I'm going to apply it to the other side. It's a good idea to have good measurements. Now, if the model is turning 2/3 point of view, which you didn't study yet, then these sizes will be different. One side would be bigger than the other side. But this looks like it's been turning over, so these are not exactly identical. I'm just trying to stick with what we have been working, so I try to make it identical from front point of view. So I'm going to move over that line. So this way, as you can see, maybe I use a dotted line. I'm moving this over, so I know this is where my line is gonna come, and I'm going to move over this, and that way I know where this other line is going to end up. Another old technique in drawing is that you could use your pencil to measure, right? So if I want to measure the width here, so I am going to put the tip of my pencil on that side and put my thumb on this side. So I know this is how wide I need to mark my line on the other side. So I need to start, I'm gonna transfer it over to my other hand, put my thumb on that starting point and mark, right? So I know that this is how wide I want it to be. I hope I'm not confusing you. This is just an old method of, this actually needs to be a little higher. That's an old method of sketching. All right, so then you draw that line. And now I'm going to continue with my lapel, which is going out. Again, with the same technique, you could quickly mark how wide you want it to be, handing it over there. So I know that's how wide I want it to be. And bring it back in. Then you will go ahead and darken your main lines. All right, and that's it. That's done. Another quick thing you could add to make it dimensional, where the color is going over top of the shoulder, you get to see another little loop happening right there. I'm really exaggerating. When I'm sketching normally, I don't draw them that big, but it's just for you guys to see. And when you're doing it on your own, you could just make it a little less. And I'm going to go ahead and draw my neckline because that will not be visible underneath my jacket color. And then you do the rest. So if you want to turn it to a coat, I'm gonna give her a raglan sleeve. So you go ahead and kind of draw the waist and the arms and everything else, right? And to show the buttons, you could draw your button. If it's double row, you could do your buttons. You could even suggest the buttonhole by drawing a little line. So this is how it is. So if I enlarge it, here's my button. On either side, you could recommend a little line, and that will show that this is buttonhole and this is the button. All right, I think that's it for different types of colors. I quickly talk about the standard ones. So how those are similar to your turtleneck. So in a turtleneck, what we have our baseline, and then we have the upper part right there. You create your little loops and the shoulder and so on and so forth. Right, so that is your base of turtleneck drawing. In these cases, it is the same, so you really have that baseline there, but also you have an opening. And as you can see, these are the loops. They didn't shaded it, but those are the loops, and they're more visible because of the way it is. So if I enlarge that one, you would have your line. You decide on the design, like at the top, and I'll show the loop a little bigger because it's a bigger piece of fabric, and obviously you can see more of the inside. And then if it is open, you keep this line open, but if it is zipped up, in the examples we're referring to, they're all zipped up completely. So you have that center line, right? And then you can show your zipper by putting a triangle on top and putting some lines, like that. And then here you can draw the shape of your color. And obviously you don't see the neck, so if you're using your template, don't draw them from the beginning, so your design will be nicer and cleaner. In my case, because I'm just making it up, I'm going to erase that. You could have your top stitching, and by looking at this, you can have different forms, different designs. In this case, they even opened up the zipper. So what you do, instead of having it all closed like that, you have a V at the top, draw your bottom line, and apply the zipper on all edges. I think that is it for this matter. One thing that I could actually share with you on that topic, I was kind of getting it going. This drawing, it is that same base, right? So it is like your regular turtleneck, which is like that, but this is open and bigger, and but everything is the same. So the base is the same, the top, the formula is the same. You get to play with different forms to create new designs. I guess that is it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.